Hi all. Today I'm joined with a few of the boys and Director of Rugby, Joe Goodman. I'll just introduce myself quickly. So I'm Henry Bedson, incoming club captain for the 2020-21 season. And today we're just going to chat a little bit about the Maroon and that sort of thing. So I'll let you boys introduce yourselves. Hal, if you want to go first.
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Hal. I'm the current first team captain and I'll be co-captain first team next year with Voucher.
Hi guys, I'm Hugh. I'm going to my fourth year and played first team since kind of joining uni, and I'm part of the Alumni and Outreach team, focused on the 1876 club this year.
Hi guys, I'm Will, club captain this season and co-captain next year with Hal, with the first team.
Hi folks, I'm Joe Goodman. I'm the head of rugby at the University of Bristol. Brilliant
then. I guess we'll just crack on then. So today we're talking about sort of the Maroon and the Maroon Scholarship. You boys all know a little bit more than I do, so I'm actually quite interested by this as well. I guess first question, I don't know who wants to answer this, maybe Goody, you're the best person to, but sort of where did the idea come from, or what actually is it first, I guess?
Sure. So I guess there's three parts to this now, possibly more actually. The two most important bits is the differentiation between the 1876 club and the Maroon itself. So I actually pitched or came up with this concept 3-4 years ago now, and pitched the idea to some people who are influential around the club, shall we say, and it was thrown out. And then we kind of pushed it again last year, and we got the support of the Vice-Chancellor. And the goal of it is to ultimately develop not only connection between students and our alumni and vice versa, but also develop revenue streams and future development of the rugby program. And then that being the 1876 club, then there's the Maroon side of it, where the goal was to kind of develop prestige really amongst players and use it as a tool to drive connection amongst members of the club. So it was kind of in competition with what Oxbridge do for their Blues Awards, and Durham do something similar as well. And as a red brick university, we're trying to challenge those top 10, top 12 other universities in the country. So as a concept, it was kind of born out of necessity to give us a bit of an X factor to try and stand out from the crowd. Because our strengths are based around being an academic university, being in a brilliant city, and offering a really powerful rugby program. But we've got a lot to do yet to reach our potential. And the hope is that the 1876 club drives the connection with the alumni, as I said, drives funding, at the same time as the Maroons driving performance within the rugby club itself.
Thanks for that. I guess then question sort of to the lads. You boys are all Maroons. What do you think of it, and what's your experience with it?
Start. Yeah, so I think from a player's perspective, as someone who achieved a Maroon Scholarship, for us it's about having that sort of drive to drive the standards of the other players within the squad. And then I think vice versa, if we had it when we were fresher coming in, it would have given us the drive to want to be a Maroon. So that's the two-way thing we're looking at for players. Those who achieve it want to drive those standards, and those who don't achieve it aspire to be a Maroon. We essentially wanted to put more prestige on playing for the first team and playing in the high-profile fixtures like we play against Oxford and the Navy, etc. And we wanted those first years coming into the club to have that ambition to play first team and be a Maroon.
Brilliant, yeah. Anyone else?
I'd echo that and just say that it's a group that any lad who joins the club can target for, and it just kind of sets the precedent for everyone joining the club and those who are actually already in the club. I think I was fortunate enough in second year to be part of the performance squad in Bristol, and I felt the Maroon was much more tailored to rugby and my ambitions for rugby rather than just a kind of general program, which is one of the big benefits of it.
Yeah, I would say on top of that as well, it's a leadership group on and off the field. So in terms of leading at training, leading in games, but also it's the off-field stuff. So I think that Maroon group of people that anyone in the club could go to, I think they're important in driving the culture of the whole club, as well as just sort of leading on the field.
So the scholarship's been a really powerful program, as the guys alluded to here, in terms of There were 11 Maroon rugby scholars last year, and that doesn't include our Vice Chancellor scholarships and also our Masters, but they all get kind of grouped together so that we can mentor and support them. The other part of the Maroon that's really key from an internal point of view is the awards that we're going to be delivering for the first time in December now at the club dinner. So blazers, ties, caps, etc., for achievements on the field, but also achievements off the field. So, Hal, do you want to talk about that a little more, because you've been the custodian, the guardian, and such for that particular area?
Yeah. So, as Goody alludes to, the important part of Maroon is not just the scholarship. That's in essence actually probably a small part of it. The bigger part is those awards, and that's when we talk about prestige. That's why those awards were brought in. So, as I sort of alluded to when I was speaking at the start, people sort of driving to play for the first team and driving to achieve 20 caps for the first team, which would earn you the Maroon. But also what we want to do is not sort of distinguish it only to first team players. So we've also brought in, under sort of the Director of Rugby's coach's discretion and the club captain at the time, that award can also be given to someone for an outstanding contribution to the club, i.e. perhaps a club captain, etc., who's done outstanding work in the committee. So to really sort of put prestige within the club for boys going for committee roles and also looking to play at the highest level. And how we want to award those is at our end of season dinner, which unfortunately has been delayed due to COVID. What we're looking to do this year is actually award those at our alumni dinner down in Twickenham, which is a biannual dinner. So that'll be actually very special for those who are getting awarded this year. And on top of that, those are the first awards we've ever handed out. And basically, we hope that as the years go on and more people achieve these awards, it will just only increase that prestige. People looking to join Bristol want to join and achieve that Maroon and be a part of the committee and the club in general. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. Shall we talk through then sort of how you actually go about getting one or the process?
So basically, we set up an application process from last year was based around an interview. So the students would send myself, the coaching team, and the club captain, the first team captain, a short video answering 2 or 3 questions, making sure they've hit particular criteria, because obviously there's a signed agreement as well. And then we'll just filter through those videos. So we had over 20 applicants last year for that program. So I guess the key part to that is about understanding each athlete's character and their aspirations and how they handle themselves. So Sharpie, maybe you could allude more to that conversation and the challenge of conducting yourself as a Maroon, but also that interview.
Yeah, so obviously it was a sort of 3-minute video talking about what your targets are. It's basically just so that the coaches can basically find out what your mindset is and whether you're the right sort of person for the Maroon. So yeah, as Goody says, there's sort of 20 people applied. That was filtered through, and then I think it was 11, wasn't it, or 13 people were chosen. Personally, for me, I wasn't quite ready. I wasn't quite there at the initial application process, and for me, that was like a real driver. So for the whole term, I sort of worked towards getting that Maroon. So it was a real incentive for me. And I was lucky enough to pick one up sort of just after Christmas in January, which is very nice. But I think, it's important that those that are ready are there to lead. And then for everyone else, it's almost like there to act as an incentive. So those people can work towards getting Maroon. But yeah, there's, well.
I think there's also the really important part you said there, Sharps, is about the being ready to embrace it and get involved in that challenge, because you don't have to have the aspirations to be, a professional athlete when you leave university, but you do have to be settled in your life. You have to have your time management spot on. You are obviously going to get help doing that within the club, and even more help as a Maroon potentially. But you do need to be comfortable in your own skin. You need to be well connected within the club. You need to be driving your own performance. You need to be doing all your training, your rehab, recovery, eating well, sleeping well, setting good examples across every area for first years who might be coming in to look up to and aspire to, which is absolutely vital to the whole program. And it takes time. Everybody's on a different journey. So that's the great thing about this, is that we would tend to award these after a pre-season period, so we can see everybody interacting together, and then be able to say yay or nay, and then say, look, come back to us in 3, 4, 5 months' time, and it gives you that opportunity to grow and develop again. Hugh, do you want to talk a bit about the interaction of that group and the people in there and the characters and why it is so powerful?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because obviously you've got a great group of players in the first team, but having a smaller group who are kind of driving the performance of not just the club, but the culture as well. And I think they kind of set the precedent pre-season this year. I think it's probably one of the most intense but positive pre-seasons I've been part of. And I think it comes from the characters of that group probably that mainly kind of drove the performance and just the culture on and off the field. So I think it's, like you say, it is the characters in that group. And it was kind of clear from the outset who was kind of setting the precedent.
I think also just to add to that is sort of amazing within 11 Maroons how different people were. I think lots of people in that group added different things. So obviously some players are naturally more vocal than others. A couple of guys perhaps more shy, but drove standards within how they sort of led their own life within S&C and off the field, etc. So I think different people within the group did different things for sort of the benefit of the club.
Yeah, I think that's
Just
quite
clarify
nice.
Sorry, go on, Sharps.
No, I was just going to say it's nice to have people in different positions and people with different sort of characters, because obviously everyone's different and everyone has different role models within the team. So I know when I came in first year, I was obviously a young naive fly half. I came in, I was looking at the backs. I wasn't too interested in what Chalky was doing or some of the fat props. So it's nice, as you say, it's nice to have different characters there because we've all got different people that we need to learn off, etc. So it works really well to have that mix of characters in there.
Yeah, good point. I was just going to say, just to give clarity on what you receive as a Maroon as well. So probably the most important part of it was the mentoring support. So the 3 coaches involved in the performance program will have 5, 6 students each to mentor and support. So I'll let the guys talk about the mentoring element in a minute. The rest of it, quite simply, is the sports pass and club membership is paid for through the Maroon. There's a little bit of stash, and then individual analysis, personal skills profiling, and IDP is created. The guys are expected to turn up to weekly S&C and skills. And then this year as well, we're hoping to add a few other bits and pieces on there, including an iGym program as well, which was developed by a lady called Cheryl Calder, who's worked with England and South Africa Rugby World Cup wins. So we're always trying to add elements as well to give the guys a little bit of an edge and an advantage. But maybe you guys could talk a bit more about the mentoring and the benefits of the mentoring for you.
Yeah, I'll kick off. So I've found the mentoring side of things probably one of the most powerful tools over the past couple of years. I think on a personal note, it's probably really good to have that kind of neutral support network where you can go and speak to someone such as a coach or a senior player, where you have an opportunity just to kind of talk freely and also get a pretty honest perspective on things. I think when you can go to family and friends, it's kind of a bit biased towards maybe kind of your success and what they want you to do. But having just a kind of honest perspective from someone who's not in your close kind of friendship group or family is quite a powerful thing.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, for me, I think when you come from school, the idea of like mentoring and having a mentor seems quite weird, or it did to me anyway. And I think it's something which sort of almost got like a stereotype to it, but actually it's hugely benefited me throughout uni. As you said, just having that continual sounding board. And although obviously you're only at uni for maybe 3 years, maybe a little bit more, huge changes happen in your life within those 3 years. And it's great to have that kind of sort of, as you said, sort of like adult role model and sounding board when everyone around you at uni is essentially your age and doing very similar things to you. I think it was also a great addition with the Maroon to sort of have Cy Martin and Shane as well, alongside Goody, who are the other 2 of our performance coaches who work with the 1s and 2s. I think it benefited them and us as well to get to know them more on a more personal level than just within training. So that was really successful as well.
Brilliant, then. I guess final thing is sort of what's the goal or the target, or where do we want to see the Maroon go?
Well, I think the Maroon itself will continue to evolve based on actually the funding and the resources within the club. So I would love to see it, we're talking 15 players at the very top, but I'd love, a next level down and so on through, so that we've got almost 30 or 40 Maroons. But the resources to support those guys, it takes money ultimately, and it takes time. I could spend all week alone just working my hours with those Maroons, which would be fantastic to let somebody else do the other bits and pieces, the admin and all the organisation. But unfortunately, that's just not the reality at the moment. And so that's where I guess the 1876 becomes the big driver here of every part of the rugby club now, based on certainly COVID's impact on financial resources for the university and also the future growth of this rugby club. The growth is going to be dependent on the quality of the people we have coming in. So the development of you guys as student athletes and people and leaders is key. And then also how we can increase our funding to develop those resources to support the growth of you. And I guess that's where the 1876 now has become such a powerful tool. My vision for it, as I said, was about connecting current students with alumni so that they can have really meaningful conversations and connection to help them drive their careers and expose them and give them ideas to placements and all sorts of other things. And also alumni can connect again. They can reconnect. You've got thousands of alumni who've now been through this club who might want to connect regarding business and sharing old stories, reminiscing of their time in the club. And then also for us as a club to set up events and other things to connect them, which can hopefully drive sponsorship and other things that might generate funding for the resources to drive the Maroon and growth and performance of the club.
Brilliant. Hope we've covered most things then. Thanks for that, boys. And thanks for that, Goody. That's been really helpful. I guess anyone who wants more information, check out our website, www.uvrfc.com, and get in touch with us, and I'll send you back an email or whatever if you're interested in joining the club. But yeah, cheers, lads.
Cheers, Henry.